And that is really what everybody needs.
Hi, is this Steve?
Steve.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Steve.
Thank you for calling us from far away. How are you?
Sorry, I gotta turn off the steam for a minute.
Yeah. Okay, what's your question?
Oh, hi. Well, I talked with a friend, and then normally talks about the possibility of being a higher being.
Uh-huh.
And then he says something about like a coin flip, like it's 50-50, and then the heads is there is one, and tails is there isn't one.
Mm.
And then like the coin has been flipped continuously, and only the one that says there isn't one has appeared, but that doesn't mean that the other side doesn't exist.
Your friend has a very bad understanding of how probability works.
Yeah, this is your field specifically.
Well, I am a computer science master. But one of my favorite reasons why that 50-50 thing is wrong is you consider this. What would this guy say is the odds that a unicorn specifically exists?
I wouldn't know for sure.
Well,
I did talk about Russell's teapot analogy.
Well, but I mean, you said he thinks everything is 50-50, right?
Oh, okay, all right.
All right, so the chance that a unicorn exists is 50-50, right? What about the chance a leprechaun exists?
All right, no.
Also 50-50, right? So what about the chance that like shoemaker or fairies, let's say fairies exist? That's 50-50 too, right? So you got unicorns, leprechauns, fairies. They're all 50-50. And when you multiply out the chances, what are the odds that some magical creature exists? They're 7/8. That doesn't sound right. So the chance that unicorns or fairies or leprechauns exists, if you multiply out all those probabilities, turns out to be 7/8. And so when you arbitrarily assign these probabilities like this, you are making very weird specific claims about the nature of the universe that don't really make any sense. Like, this guy is basically saying that it's practically guaranteed when you add in all the other possible imaginary monsters, like vampires and werewolves and something, that it's almost guaranteed that something magic exists. And that doesn't smell right. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
And if you, isn't it the case that if you want to make, a probabilistic claim of any kind, you at least have to be working off of some kind of data set?
Does this guy gamble?
Yeah.
Because like, you could put a card up and say, or randomly draw a card and say, hey, I'll bet you even money that this is not the two of spades. Because it's either the two of spades or it's not the two of spades.
It's not even that specific when they're talking about the existence or non-existence question. It would be, I think, the equivalent of walking into a casino with a big fistful of money and saying, I'm going to hit the blackjack tables, and there is it's 50-50. I'll either win lots of money or I won't.
Well, it's worse than that. You go to the roulette table and you say, I'm going to bet on 17 red because it's 50-50 that it'll come up.
Right.
I'm sure the casino owner would love this guy.
Either it will come up or it won't. So that is exactly, I think, where they're. That's the foundational mistake they're making in thinking how probability works.
Yeah, when you don't know something is true or not, you can't just pull a number out of your ass and say it's 50-50. There's a lot of work that goes into determining the actual probabilities of things. And we can't even begin to come up with the probability of whether there's a God or not because we don't have all the relevant information.
I see. Okay. I'll make sure to keep that in mind.
Okay. I hope it helps.
Okay.
Yes.
And yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But well, thank you.
Ask another question?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. You get it for
so another thing is he said something about like if we draw on a 2D dimension, it's the third dimension drawing upon the second dimension. So then he thinks that there's the fourth dimension, which is doing the same on the third dimension.
Okay, there could be. Actually, reading about like parallel dimensions, or I mean, higher dimensions is really pretty cool from a mathematical point of view. But what about it?
I don't know. I mean, like that's the analogy he made. Like we just don't know. But then there's pretty much a higher being that's doing the same what we do with drawing comics.
I can't really say what he's talking about, but I had a book that I loved as a kid called The Fourth Dimension, and it was by a science fiction author named Rudy Rucker. So I think you can still get that on Amazon.
Probably, yeah. Rudy's fantastic. It's really funny.
Yeah, oh, you like him too, huh?
Yeah. Although, this is just a general comment, nothing specifically to do with Steve. But we get, every time we get a call or we get an email from someone who describes, I've got a friend and he says this thing to me, and it's just some wild, spacey thing, right? I'm just sort of like, I just imagine all these Atheist Experience viewers with these fantastic collection of total stoner friends who just all the time want to talk about multiple dimensions and what if the universe, was an enormous Danish.
Yeah, sometimes the stoner friends are the people who write to us. We always get these things like, hey man, I have a new theory about how the universe could have come into existence. And I'm like, okay, don't use the word theory.
Yeah.
Because you are probably not right, and you probably have not come up with any way to test
But this is my theory, which is mine.
All brontosauruses
We're very thin on one end.
Anyway, we're Monty Python geeks.
Yes.